I'm honored to be here. Cornelia Street, thank you, friends. Three phases of revolution. First phase, revolution between, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Use the mic.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if, okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You know what, let me move this way.
Yeah.
How's that?
Perfect. Good.
Between a man and his woman. And, you know, if you're feeling it, because I don't know if everybody sleeps, you know, melatonin or something, you know, or just after work, but if you're feeling it, yeah, hey, you know, let us know. I mean, that you know, a lot of times we get up here, you know, we're nervous as hell, so a lot of times the barometer of whether, you know, what we're doing is by what, you know, how you respond, so. Anyway.
Welcome.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled poetry program. All right, so first, phase one, revolution between a man and his woman. Ever since the first time she said hello, I never really thought that she would leave without saying goodbye. Logic? Logic is illogical. And for those of you who's expressed to me that I should forget her, then forget you. Because you see, that tells me that you never begin to understand the way that I used to soak her cocoa brown skin in my mouth, and it was her mind that was the cigarette after. Sweet swept away sensations of the syrup of sins that was satisfying to the soul and satisfying to the touch, creating future testimonial archives that will be cataloged somewhere between Ashford and Simpson and Gangster Guardian Angels, who guide me through this minefield of life by outfitting me with this defective emotion-proof vest, whose only flaw is that it covers every single area of the body except the heart, and it is this that makes me imperfect, which makes me perfect for God, so I know that I had to be perfect for her. But yet, somehow we are still as familiar as strangers in a waiting room, unable to sort out the blame because it did not go with your shoes, and you still have not forgiven me for the night that I cried in between your thighs as I made you call out your own name because you had not yet conquered your fear of devotion. And to date, as far as I know, my only unfavorable deed was that I put her on a pedestal, believing that she could snag wild mango flavored shooting chocolate stars in between her toes, drink water from the sun, as I then watch her wipe her mouth with my inability to walk away from her because it was fashioned from the same sins that makes married men not come home to their wives on a Saturday night. Leaving me to recall the first time that our lips grip locked and our tongues jostled, and how it transformed me back to the horizon of the beginning of never. Convincing me that this feeling that we shared would last as long as the life expectancy of sand, because sand, as you know, is significant of time, but yet it cannot be tracked like the inner rings of trees that yield the sap of hope for which we greedily cup our hands and we hold on to these dreams. And how funny it is, the one that we need in our lives are the ones that we let slip through these very same fingers. Y'all still with me?
Yes.
With kisses from her that would make the taste of poverty bearable. I camouflaged this wounded heart into poetry and love songs that I would simply say for my son so that he will understand that old fools were once young fools. So upon his first puppy love, when he runs outside of the first right side of rain, hoping to drink the sky with his head held back and his mouth wide open, but yet cannot see the whole picture because he's blinded from the rays of her physical imagery that is disguised as the sun, giving him the courage to write and spit, regardless of the fact that a portion of these masters today are unable to remove this psychological condom from their minds, because they are allergic to intellectual poetry. Googling or modeling with memories that were bringing to mind the moments of cerebral masturbation. Because for me to tell her that I missed her was simply not enough. But it had to be enough. Because you see, I was condemned to desire to embrace her with the same aching intensity of a man who who possesses no arms, but yet maintains the dexterity to draw the line, as he then etches hieroglyphic scriptures onto the edge of his tongue, causing remnant visions of her to be burned onto the inside of his eyelids, where she shall remain there until 14 days after they decipher the Da Vinci Code, because it's then they will discover that was she that was God all the time. So it's here and now, at the corner of my crossroad, that my manhood now has a new perception, because it is here and now that I finally understand what it's like to die from a kiss. Peace. I love that Sprite.
Yeah.
Phase two. Phase two. Revolution between man, his environment, his surroundings. I was born and raised in El Barrio, and it would amaze me sometimes. After 30, 40 years, I would go back, and the people who I hung out with, who were the age of men, were still boys. Where is this place where men no longer hold doors open for women, and women feel that because they are women, exclusive from doing the same, but men no longer give up seats on subways while women get on trains to make men feel like shit by standing in front of them with that oh so woe is me scowling persecution look on their face, even though they may have just spent 8 hours of sitting on their ass. Where is this place where speaking to someone on the street can cause you to feel the life-taking lead projectile exploding into your skin merely because of what you may or you may not have said to someone like, yo, I hear you say I'm sorry, man. Where is this place, a little flat-chested, frog-laced, snot-nosed little girls of a time past who have now devolved into ghetto queens and have traded in their G.O.D. for their B.E.T. and now their flesh is the only curse that they know. And where is moms? And why is she a grandmother at 35? And why does her son walk around with pants that hang in the fashion the joint had a whole different meaning? I mean, damn, man, where is this place? And where's Miss Mary? And y'all remember Miss Mary, right? She would snitch to your moms about everything she seen your little dumbass doing. And you feared her more than you did the cops. But it's now her fear of not wanting to get involved that has now burned down the village that would once raise the child. But you know why? I really started wondering about this place when I saw the way that Genghis Giuliani had deported the vendors from 125th Street.
Yeah.
Rounded them up like garvyites,
Yep.
and then suddenly busloads of tourists began appearing. What a sight. Busing. Then for so long, those who had exclaimed to others that they should remain out of the jungles of Harlem because it was nothing more than the remains of a trickle-down economy war, and that we savages still ran around with a white bone stuck through our nose. But look what has happened. Don't these people now move into these same jungles of Harlem? Probably after overhearing conversations on their 9-to-5 plantations, like, chill, man. Shit. You're living in the safest place. They issue if not with the oppressed. If you ever notice, they never bomb the ghettos. So come with me and let's see where's this place where children who are born in the ghetto and raised in the ghetto learn the dynamics of what it takes to survive in the ghettos as their families break their backs to provide them with a decent education, and they go on to the NBA, still unable to read Dick and Jane, but yet make $12.6 million a year and never come back to these same jungles after these same ghettos to provide after-school programs or job training or even daycare centers to provide for the children that they have refused to claim because they got caught out there fresh. Or ways to teach these boys to become these young men who become boys and to realize that you sisters are their souls and not their hoes. But instead, they have allowed themselves to be hoodwinked by these new millennium plantation owners who have persuaded them to lend their names to sneakers to be sold at exorbitant prices in the very same communities from whence they wretched asses come from. And if you understand what I'm saying too, let me hear you say, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And tell me, where is this place where we no longer take pride in wearing by any means necessary power to the people or X, but instead we freebase Tommy, we glorify Abercrombie and Finch, and just who in the hell is Abercrombie and Finch anyway? As the gap of this self-genocide and the reality of we are gets wider and wider every day, where we are still here using the N-word despite the fact that so many were beaten, burned, lynched, were tortured, and spat upon, and died so that you would not be called by this name, but that you would be called a man. But nah. You let some book tell you that if the N-word if you do not give power to it, the N-word has no power. Well, then that must mean that I must be in this place that if the president is having a press conference, that right in the middle of his speech, I should be able to stand up and say, "Nigga, shut the hell up!" And since neither he nor his Secret Servicemen will give power to it, then I will simply be ignored. But for real though, this place must no longer be allowed to exist. Salvation's got to stop being more of a choice than between Jesus and the Bible. And that starts with me. Because of my time, I've come to realize that getting older is mandatory. There's growing up that is optional. I just cannot believe that we have come into this place where we have baptized the souls of our children in the dirty waters of our own self-destruction, and then pimped our culture for less than the price than our ancestors were so far on the block. My God, we have much to be proud of. So the next time I go to the mall and I see little timeout Timmy calling his mother a bitch, I will politely go over and stomp his ass into the ground. And when the feds roll up on me with a Pledge of Allegiance, I will return fire with 41 shots from my wallet. And when that is empty, I will cock back my double barrel of pride, frustration, and purpose and announce to back up, motherfuckers, because this revolution begins in Kinda With Me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Peace. Dry over there, man. Like this throat. That's it. Thank you. All right. So we ended off phase 3. Phase 3 is revolution between man and himself. This poem is dedicated to me. Like the baseball player, right? I was a child born in a village where many died as they lived, and others lived as they died as they choked on the nectar of heroin and then washed it down with voluntary slavery. White mouths with sleeves that have no hearts because they have been frozen with the acceptance of poverty and their destiny, and then proudly belched tears that was once reserved for Step and Fletcher when he sat at the mirror before corking. Children whose parents could not afford to buy G.I. Joe or passing Barbie. Mothers at funerals whose sons died before getting their first facial hair. Daughters who passed away before their breasts even bloomed, and home and me when no one was looking. The only role models in my village were those who could cast themselves from the balconies of their life by injecting the saliva of Willie Lynch into their veins and fall off into this place where there is no pain, because they are dreaming from drinking water fountains that have no signs above them, as your children no longer have to watch you being forced to give up your seat as they try to fit in their little minds the meaning of the lecture that you gave them the night before on what it means to be a man. Or daddy coming home from a job that does not make him want to take it out on mommy. As this teaches daughters to know their place and somehow understand that these are ingredients of love, as sons are not foolishly misguided into thinking that this is how a man maintains order. And yet come back from this place just to put another bullet into the chamber to play ghetto roulette, another attempt to end this life because somebody out there may actually love them. The tears of the complacency of my life were on my face that was a billboard for a future that would have me picking up the morning paper from some white picket fence lawn as I call out to neighbors who would ultimately and quickly move away because to them, my skin possesses some powerful disease that decreases property value. Stirs up hate for me that is not even their own, but their Confederate forefathers as their daughters leer at me and wonder is it true what they say. So I eagerly tear open its glossy bag because its contents can help dissolve the pains of my destiny. Cellophane political promises, broken hearts, and love that seems to only exist on top 10 countdowns on soul radio stations that, for some reason, no matter where in the world that you go, can always be found at the end of the dial. I am much smarter now and know all too well after seeing drug dealers with pinky rings and flashy cars and enough money to buy mommy's food stamps, after which I will eat commandments and then steal them from her. So hopefully someday I will no longer have the shakes, as again I put on this altar boy uniform backwards as I hand Father Rosario the chalice of wine, holding back to earth to drink that shit to see if it's really any good. And then I ask God, why won't you save us too, man? I mean, your son grew up in the hood. So I cook and I liquefy my dreams just below boiling point. As I wonder how much longer can I hold on to this anticipation to escape being 3/5 of a man. Because you see, my village has taught me that my present state of existence is my unchangeable future. And these are the cards that I am dealt, and I can't even make point out of the realization that I'm going to die in the same place that I was born. As we give our women so much to look forward to as they search for love, and dead men walking, and suppliers who for the price of their dignity will make them whole again, as they use reluctant thighs to pay for the next fix because they have been led to believe that woman is pussy spelled backwards. And tomorrow, she would turn 15. She would spend it in an abandoned building with an abandoned people, and she would get high enough and long enough so that she could be immune by the time that sibling hands touch her in the middle of the night. And then she asked her God, why did she not have the courage to become a prostitute? For at least she would get paid for it. And it certainly has to be more lucrative than being a welfare queen, and she does not have to worry about broken hearts because she has been in love with one man for too long. But then there's my daughter. She tells me that she's too good for me. Talks to me about how she can suck glass dicks with specialty butane lighters, and that she can quit anytime that she wants to, and then quarrels with her little brother over tiny flaky white crumbs, which have now become their god but not their savior, because the fire of their cravings cannot drown out the roar in their minds, which is actually me begging them to be strong, because I need them in my dreams, and it is the only thing that have not bought it, as I have lost the pawn ticket to my soul, and 10 presents in my hands do not live very long. And mothers and fathers leave life with death certainly be a luxury when they look into the mirror and they wonder, where have I gone? But then years will pass. and my life will be compressed by time. Because it is this syringe that will solve the mysteries of what happens to my life in the spaces between rosaries and diaries, as I have become my own stepchild in the wings of dreams to escape this village that finds me praying. And it finds me hoping. And on the other side of this chocolate rainbow is me. I'm coming to the revolution, man. Save me a spot. I'm coming, man. I'm coming. Man. If no one has told you this today, I love you. Good night.